Starting again. Here we go. So, a little message again. So, I was thinking back to the time that I was in this kind of success bubble, if you like, and it got me thinking about how I got on the path to a more graceful experience of business and life, given that I had been very much in what I describe as the American hustle. And don't take that as offense to my American followers. It's just, that hustle energy is optional. And I didn't know that at the time. So I was caught up in this hustle energy of trying to get my business going and learning all the techniques and going full out, claiming my epic life and doing the things that I was being told you were supposed to do to be successful. And all of that was very effortful. Basically, the majority of what I was being pointed to was about becoming a better version of myself. And becoming a better version of myself really entailed investing more money. It entailed kind of white knuckling my way to success. It entailed learning tons and tons of information about how to acquire clients and how to show up as a brand and how to appear online. It was very effortful. And at some point in my journey, I just realized something was off. I realized it when I started to feel like I had felt in my day job. I was waking up and I was saying to myself, my goodness, why am I feeling so tired? Where's my inspiration gone? Why am I spending money on health practitioners? What's going on in my body? And so I realized something was off, and I had the good wisdom to take myself off that way of doing things. And what that really entailed at that time was I had to basically say goodbye to a 7-figure opportunity and the community I had become known in. But I trusted that wisdom. I trusted that calling. And that calling was there has to be a more simpler way. There has to be an easier way. And so I came away from that and came back to Italy and kind of did not know what I was going to do out on my own and how was I going to receive clients and how was I going to keep the business going. But it didn't matter because I just let myself quieten down for a while and roll on a number of months, and I kind of start getting itchy feet. I'm starting to wonder, where has my ambition gone? And I wake up and I see an email that's inviting me to a writers' competition in London. So I said to myself, well, maybe this is the next good thing for me to do. Maybe I'm going to write a book. Maybe I'm going to, enter this competition. So off I went to London, and I got there and I was late. But when I arrived, Michael Neal was on the stage. I don't know if you know Michael, but Michael is a best-selling Hay House author as well as a transformational coach. And he was talking about well-being. Now, I was shocked that here was a coach talking about well-being, because that was speaking my language. And I had not been allowed, to some degree, to prioritize or even consider my well-being in all the former training I had been doing. In fact, well-being was kind of dismissed as an excuse when I brought it forth. And so he's talking about well-being, he's talking about business, he's talking about experiencing life in a new way, and I'm all ears. And I remember I stood up at that event and I was no longer interested in writing a book. I was now interested in, well, how do you market from that? How do you run a business from that? And that led me to go check out one of his retreats online. I got curious about him. The guy had really stilled my intellect, and he kind of, woke me up to this beautiful feeling inside of being able to have well-being and wealth, well-being and success. So I went over to his website and I looked at his website and his marketing and his retreats, and I nearly threw up. And I'll tell you why I nearly threw up. My arrogant, know-it-all marketing self that had done all this training in the world of marketing and knew how you were supposed to say things and knew what you were supposed to do to elicit people's interest, nearly threw up because none of the marketing on offer was pointing to anything I'd learned. In fact, it was all higgledy-piggledy and it wasn't coherent. And then I saw what he was charging, and that made me throw up too. Like, I got really curious. How is this guy making any money with such crap marketing? So you got to understand, this was about 5 years ago, and this was where I was coming from. I had all these ideas, all these concepts about what you were supposed to do to be attractive to the world, and what you were supposed to say, and how you were supposed to point to what you were offering. So my curiosity, my confusion led to curiosity, and I took out my card and I booked a retreat with him in Barcelona. And I remember I went on that retreat, and I went with that feeling of, how is he doing this? And this can't be right. I was kind of challenging him. Anyway, I went to the retreat, and we were exploring these principles behind life, but more than anything, he was in a lovely feeling. His feeling was like cotton wool. I wanted what he had. I mean, he had a lot on his plate. He was very in demand. He had a few personal challenges that he made us aware of at that retreat. And yet, he was so calm and so in a space of well-being. And again, my intellect was stilled. And it was in the course of that weekend retreat with him and this beautiful group of people that I saw my relationship to insecure thought. I saw how I'd been living in a state of mind that was constantly revved up on being the best, getting it right, appearing proper to the world, trying to master, basically a state of mind that was saying, become a better version of yourself, Grace, because you're not enough. And I literally that weekend, and my mind quietened down. I remember sleeping like a baby. I remember feeling like cotton wool. I remember walking the streets of noisy Barcelona, feeling like I was walking through the gates of heaven. It was that powerful. And as Michael greatly and has always reminded me, I went on to do an apprenticeship with him for a year, and he always reminded me that it wasn't him that generated that feeling in me any more than it's me or anybody else generating that feeling in you. It was just the space he was living from that helped my well-being and state of mind come back up, and therefore just settle in on that same cotton wool feeling. Now, as a result of that, as a result of feeling that well-being, as a result of having that insight about insecure thought, as a result of seeing that my state of mind determined my experience of life, not my bank account, not my successful business, not being with the right mentor. As a result of that, I realized how effortful and noisy everything else was in the pursuit of teaching you how to succeed in starting your business. And I made a very bold statement, and I said, I can't go back to teaching my audience that. It doesn't make sense anymore. And the rest is history. Here's the good news. I've learned, and my clients have learned, and I love teaching you, that your starting a business does not require you to master all those things that you're being told you have to master. And let me share a few of those with you. Your creating success does not require you to play full out. It doesn't require you to go for mastery. In fact, I say to my clients, go for a siesta. Forget mastery, go for a siesta. Let your mind quieten down, get some rest from all that insecure noise, and see what your wisdom brings you. See what becomes clear to do, who to call, what direction to go in. Starting your own business and having success with it doesn't require you to be committed and to show up and to work your mindset to the ground. No, it doesn't. It requires you to let yourself off the hook when it comes to all the things you think you should be doing, and listen deeply for the idea, the wisdom, the action that's coming to you, because that's your starting point, that's your solution. Now, there's a couple of practical things too. I say to everybody, know what you're offering. I say to my clients, pick a lane, get into that lane, and stay in that lane for long enough that people understand why they'd come to you. But just as I had thought it was all about the right words and the right website and the right photo shoots and the right brand and, you know, the right price point, I learned in seeing the success of someone further ahead of me who didn't have those things going on and just lived in this beautiful feeling and brought it to the world with a clarity of what he was offering, that's enough. That's enough. I call it a kind of spiritual marketing. So I hope this is helpful. I want it to be hopeful, and I wanted to share with you my journey a little bit more deeply from kind of being stuck in that hustle mentality, which innocently so many people are still stuck in, to actually having a more graceful approach to life and business, and starting your business in a way that doesn't get you lost in all the gimmicks, but draws people to you, not because you're a better version of you or trying to be, but because you genuinely have a desire to help them and you're clear on what you can help with. All right, lovelies, tell me what you're hearing in this one. Post a comment below and I'll be back with you soon. Ciao.